boom. All right, Kenman here, and today we have a nice little pouch from MoPatty. This is from her collection of some really cool knives that she has. She sent some to me to check out, to share with all of you. Let's get right into it. What are we looking at today? Thanks again to MoPatty for sharing some of these really cool knives with us. Nicholas Nichols Knives from Forge and Fire Season 7, if you want to check that out. Made in NC. Nicholas Nichols Knives.com. There we go. We're going to be looking at the Guppy 3.5 Magna Cut full titanium skeletonized. Forget it, Dan. Get the knife out. All right, let's set this over here. And today, the first knife from the Nicholas Nichols Knives. Boom. The Guppy 3.5. 3.5. Look at that skeletonized frame. That is crazy. Action on this thing is sick. This knife is rad. Let's soak it in. Check it out. Boom. So we have the full titanium skeletonized frame, scales, and then the Magna Cut on that blade. Look at the action on that. Flipper tab, drops, shut, thumbs out, no problem. Now as a lefty, you know me, I'll put my thumb on there, try to flick. It does lock up. If I get my thumb out of the way, you can flick it out. So with those full frame locks, often for the lefties, if you put some pressure on there, you can't get it to actuate the same. That is the case in this one, so it makes it a little bit more or less likely for me to want one. If they made a lefty version, it would be great. Look at this thing. It does just drop shut. The skeletonized frame is got some big openings though. That is really, you can get all the way in there. I mean, I can get in there and I can touch the edge right there with my finger. And I have big hands. I guess they're not super wide or stumpy, whatever, but I can get in there and touch that sharp edge. So if that's something to, that you think about. And as a lefty, I noticed, so right side, look, it's all closed up. So when you go to close it, it just drops and your fingers are out of the way. But as a lefty, I go here to close it. Now I'm going to leave it locked open, but look at what can happen. Look at my pinky. Look at my middle finger. They can just drop right in there. So if you're holding it as a lefty, you have to be careful, because if your finger goes in there like that and then you go to drop it shut, boom, you are going to cut yourself. Ooh, that detent is nice though. So that is something I noticed. I've been messing around with it a little bit, so I know to make sure to kind of hold it sideways like this without dropping in those skeletonized holes. But it is a little scary. So as far as the lefty goes, with the lockup on the bar and then the way those holes are, I don't know. They made a lefty version though. Action is nice once you are used to it. You can see that drop, just great stuff. Flicks out really good. So we got the logo Magna Cut on the blade right there. Nothing else anywhere else. I don't see any other markings. Makes for a nice clean design. What do we think about this one? Boosh. Anybody ever checked anything out from Nicholas Nichols? And who watched Forge and Fire Season 7? Maybe we should go and watch that. Episode 33. I'm going to bring that up and check it out tonight. I haven't done that. I've watched a lot of Forge and Fire, but in this case, it'd be cool to kind of check out one for a knife that I currently have in-house. Nice little ramped up harpoon right there. Feels really good. No jimps. Kind of a rounded edge. There's a little knockdown on the sides. And then this nice little relief cut. It actually gets, it's not sharp, but it gets pretty thin right up on there. Cool looking design. I do like the way my thumb fits into that spot. You can choke up on that area right there for getting in for some tighter work too if you want. My index finger is kind of strange because of that ramp. If you have a smaller hand, you might end up holding it right there and being quite comfortable. But that skeletonized frame. What do you think about that? Some people love these, some people don't like them as much. I'm kind of on the fence. I prefer a big full like piece of titanium with maybe some diamond texture to it over the skeletonized, but there is a place for it. They are cool. I dig it. The little groove right there has got a couple lines on it. Nice little texture, rounded edges. Other than that, they are flat. No real contour on the side there, but the action is awesome. I just want to drop shut it every time. Clip can't be swapped. You got a big lanyard hole for them Edyards or lanyards that you may want to have on there. Yeah, a cool skeletonized look here on the Guppy 3.5. Blade is solid. No play, no movement. Well, yeah, that's good. Looks like it's a little bit that way, not quite right in the center, just a little bit off. I bet you, I wonder if I tightened it a little bit, if I could put that right in the middle. But it is solid when it's open. And the detent is, look at that, oosh. It has a solid detent. When you go to just pull it out, it feels like it's stuck. It like really has to break free. When you get in there with the thumb though, it's nice. It does have a good break. Same thing with the flipper tab. I'll try to fail one. Boom. I don't think you can on this because it does have that solid pop. And so once you get just a little pressure on it, it is going to fling out. Nice detent on there for sure. So can't tell if the pivot is a captive pivot. It's the same on both sides. Does anyone know? I mean, the action is awesome. So there's that. But the captiveness of the pivot, I don't know if that has any effect. What are we getting ourselves into here? Yeah, I love the forward angle of it. I like the harpoon section. Really cool little design here. Do I have a light out? Maybe it looks a little dark on the side there. Ooh, large. 8 1/4, almost 8 3/8 end to end. 3 1/2 on the blade. You could say it's 4 if you go angled from there to there because of the sweep of that handle, but it's like 3 1/2 up at the top. You're really looking at about a 3 1/2 inch blade, and just almost 3 1/2 on the cutting surface with a nice little curve on the front of the belly, and 4 7/8 on the handle. Oh, careful. All right, 0.16. Wow, 0.15. And that starts to taper. So it's 0.1615 right to there. And it starts to go off. Got this little relief cut and then the grind across there. Got a nice edge to it. I like where the point is. And it does have a larger belly to it. 0.47 on the handle. 0.99. Pretty much about 1 inch even, kind of on that curve of that handle there. Thickest spot on the blade up here, 1.31. And the flashing, dying battery on the caliper is not going to die ever. It's telling me it is, but it's not going to. So I've definitely opened and closed this quite a bit on some live streams and stuff. I do lives, vertical ones regularly, just here and there. And then I do a standard every Thursday night horizontal live. We get into some fun stuff. Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're interested, come check it out. Hang out with us. 4 1/2. Got some weight on it. 3.29 on that Kaiser drop air I used to compare with everything. So 4.5, right on the money. Very even on that measurement. Boom. So it's definitely a full size. Kaiser drop air is a great user, bug out size, pyrite size, not quite full size, kind of daily carry, great in the hand. So if you check this out, it is just a little bit shorter, 1/2 inch to 3/4 on the front and the back. So we're looking at full size on the Guppy here. If you are looking for a nice daily carry though, check out that drop bear from Kaiser. So Magna Cut skeletonized titanium Guppy 3.5. Here's that card one more time. Nicholas Nichols Knives. Thanks again to MoPatty for sending me out, sending me this knife to check out. It doesn't look like she's used it all that much. I do a paper cut test on new knives. This one isn't really new, but it is fairly unused. It doesn't look like she's done a lot with it other than have it in the collection, maybe pass it around to a few people. But yeah, this is sharp. Nice edge to it. I'd give this about an 8. It's kind of working through that paper, no problem. Maybe even an 8.5. That's pretty slicey. I can dig it. Anybody have anything from Nicholas Nichols Knives? If so, comment below. Tell us about it. Let's also talk about skeletonized scales and frames. Do you like them? Or is it remind you of that cheap Gerber that's kind of a blah knife? Let's discuss. And if you like what I like, a nice solid piece of titanium with some diamond texture. Boom. Thanks a lot, MoPatty. We'll get these back to you real soon. And stay sharp. We'll see you all soon.